G'day guys, it's Josh here. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Also, before we start with the June and July roadmap for Lost Ark, you guys better tune into my other videos where I downed Voltan. Finally got Voltan down yesterday, and I was super happy just on reset day as well. We had such a clean kill, and unfortunately I got grabbed towards the end there, which is a bit unfortunate. And also my Voltan guide, Gate 2 up now as well. We'll get Gate 1 done this week after the Pokemon World Record, just getting ready on that as well. But let's talk about the June and July update. It's actually the first update by Smilegate and Amazon Games. That's going to take over 2 months. So now, basically, first things first, they're going to discuss like, what's been launched. I didn't even know Lost Ark was only 2 years old. I thought Lost Ark was a lot older than that, actually. And basically, they have highlighted here is that they're planning to release one class, advanced class, every 2 months, which kind of means like basically Reaper, Scouter, Artist, which everyone's wanting to see, and Arcanist is not going to be released over a long period of time. Now, I don't really get this standpoint from them because classes aren't really good content as per se. They're not actually content. They're just a different way of playing. I guess you suppose you could call them content, but I kind of disagree with it. I think it's kind of a thing that you want to try and release over time right away, rather than just time gating it and making it like pseudo, like, get relevant engagement, stuff like that again. I feel like if you do gate, classes like that people would lose interest over time because the eye level mark where you got to be is getting higher and higher and higher. I mean, I remember at the start it was like 1400, then it was 1415, then it was 1430 for Voltan. Sorry, not 1430, 1445 for Voltan. Now it's going to be 1460 for Vikus, and then it's going to be 1490 for Brashaza, and so on and so forth. Basically, it's going to be an absolute, not a mess, but an absolute, it's just that eye level's going to climb higher and higher, and to climb higher and those eye levels gets a lot harder, okay? Like, it's not very simple at all. Percentages of honing become like, I think it's like, at the moment for me, it's like 10%. As soon as you hit 20, to go hitting higher is like 3%. To convert a 19 to 20 is 3% base, okay? And I think it gets up to 6%, which is like unbelievably small of getting any higher at the moment. So I can understand from that period that's probably not a good idea. But anyways, they got a new class called the Arcanist. So I've talked to a few people about the Arcanist. The Arcanist is basically a luck RNG class, as people call it. So it's like a DPS class with a lot of luck and RNG to it. I guess I don't think many people are going to play this class, to be honest. It's not really popular in Korea to begin with. Any class decided really by RNG is probably not the greatest of classes, if I'm going to be quite honest. I think a lot of classes that used to be decided by RNG, which was Outlaw Rogue, was nicknamed to be a casino rogue, and they called slot machines and stuff like that, whether you get good or whether you get bad or not. But either way, basically, Voltan Raid, has been pretty well so far. They've highlighted that, people have progressed through Voltan Raid as expected, to be honest. I mean, they got a lot of big streamers who did the Voltan Raid probably for hours on end, realizing how it's actually a bit difficult and a bit getting used to as well, and a lot harder than Argos. Admittedly, though, Argos was probably released way before it needed to be. I mean, the average eye level for a lot of people were like 1365, 1360, and that's not enough for Argos. And like, basically, I think most of the Argos kills were done by whales, and they were done after week 2 by free-to-play players. But anyway, so what happens is that we promise to be as transparent as we can. They've been very transparent. Like, anyone who's saying Lost Ark hasn't been transparent is probably lying to themselves. Like, there's this conspiracy theory around that they're just keeping the bots there to pump the player numbers. I don't believe that for a second. I think that's pretty disingenuous, given the fact that if anyone rates a game based on its concurrent player numbers and then say that they're doing this because of that, it doesn't really know how the game works. I mean, WoW had the same issue as well. They could have really pumped their stocks and just kept the bots on in Bastion and Twilight, saying, like, hey, we've got 7 million people playing still. When realistically, they do not. That sort of thing with the bots. I don't think Lost Ark are doing the same thing at all. Like, I don't think the community would let them do it, to be honest. And I don't think they want to do it themselves. They don't want to lie to themselves. Okay, they don't want to lie to investors who probably know better, because I've said this before in previous videos. The moment when an investor or a sponsor finds out that one game's doing the gig, that they're trying to scam people and stuff like that, they talk to other sponsors, and you can never get your game sponsored again. That's why integrity is so important, because once one sponsor says you've done something, they talk to the other ones, and they're not going to sponsor your game. Okay, they're not going to sponsor your game at all. Now, you may say, like, oh, Amazon Games and Smilegate's really big, and they can fund themselves. Mate, like, you got to think beyond that. What if Amazon doesn't want to sponsor Smilegate's game anymore, and anything like that? What if they leave? Who's Smilegate going to get? Nobody, because no one's going to sponsor it. If the blow comes back. So anyways, let's get to the roadmap in general, which is going to be June. We got Vikus, okay? Our lovely, curvaceous woman demon thing. She comes out at 1430 and 1460 eye level. She comes out probably towards the end of June. I'm going to say I expected her to be in July because I didn't feel like a lot of people were there for Voltan hard mode. But to be fair, she's only 15 eye levels above, which is only probably 6 hones away, as someone actually pointed out to me. It's only 6 hones away. And realistically, even I will probably get 1460 before this update is released. You know, I'll probably get 1460 maybe even this week or maybe even next week. You never know. But, you know, I do agree with it. Like, the people are right. Like, you know, you probably be Vikus eye level, like, you know, ready to go. And also, not to mention as well, they introduced the sets of Voltan last month, and the second half of the sets can only be got from Vikus. So it's understandable they've done it right away, so people can have Vikus and Voltan to go between, get the hard modes done in both instances, and start building up their sets basically for the end game essentially as well. And also, not to mention as well, the gear customization, you can switch to any sets that you wish for when you get it basically as well. And also, I'm going to say, like, you know, with the gear customization and set switching as well, I think they probably have to release this because it's going to be very interesting trying to get like 4 sets and 6 sets when you need both mats from both bosses. Like, you need demon bows from Voltan and you need wings from Vikus as well. Now, Vikus is actually very, very tough. I heard from some of my friends in Korea and stuff like that as well, is that Vikus is more of a team-based raid where it's going to favor statics a lot more. It's not like Voltan where it's a bit more puggy, where it's just like individual-oriented, like Argos and Voltan. There are actually a lot of team-based mechanics where if one person stuffs up, the entire raid dies, that kind of thing. So I think I'm going to say there's going to be a lot of people getting banned or kicked out of the raids and stuff like that on Vikus because of this, okay? And there hasn't been many solo Vikus kills either. And I'm going to put it down to the fact that you can't really solo this boss because you need to have perfect raid mechanics as well. Now, same thing as Voltan as well, you obviously need the 8 players. Now, there's another reason to get 1460, which is basically Lavachrominium, I suppose, or Ice Chrominium. Looks like a giant turtle. Looks like destruction is going to be back in the menu. And this is why you probably want to get 1460, is because you need to be 1460 to access him, okay? So let's get a giant turtle. I guess suspect he's got a lot of destruction abilities related to him as well. So my Dead Eye is going to be like, feels good, man, as I completely blow this turtle to smithereens. But pretty much he should be pretty easy, just like Descaluda. Maybe a bit harder, I'm not too sure. We'll see, we'll find out if it's harder or not. But, you know, Descaluda's been strikingly a lot easier compared to Velganos, where Velganos is just an absolute nightmare in any sort of gunning raid. Next up, we got Frostbite, which is Tower 3. Tower 3 is a interesting set. It's different from the other towers as well, is that the first 25 floors give rewards, and the next 25 floors is focused on prestige and completion time instead, as you guys can read there as well. I'm not too sure if you can just level up with a ult and you get honey mats with your other dudes. We'll see what happens there. But anyway, most people at this stage of the game should have enough honey mats from doing their chaos dungeons non-stop on ults. If they've been using ults, if they haven't been using ults, well, what can you say? Maybe not, you know? Maybe not. Next up, we got the Nuka Store cosmetics. We had Daenerys cupboard. Now we got Yoz's jar. I'm not really a favorite of cosmetics, to be honest. I like my guy. I don't really care what they wear or anything like that. Not really focused on that. Really focused on the gameplay and raids and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, you know, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I found some of the appearances in the Stronghold for the NPCs to be just one theme, and that's it, just different colors. And I don't really see the finesse of it all. But someone has told me that you do need these avatars and legendary avatars and stuff like that to increase your dexterity, to increase your virtue stats and stuff like that, more than you can usually get. Now, overall, I'm going to say you can salvage some of these to turn into another skin, but I'm not sure if they're releasing the best of slot skins. Apparently, there's the best of slot skins as well, which you have to use via, you know, crystals, something like that. I'm not terribly too sure on that. We'll take it as it comes. And I'll just ask around for it as well. But all I know is just the avatar and the skins, they're quite valuable. And you may want to, like, you know, look at them. But obviously don't purchase them yet either, because apparently the best ones aren't even out yet. Which is kind of annoying, to be honest, where, like, you might have to do contingencies and stuff like that. But I don't really mind it, to be honest. As, you know, 1% dexterity isn't going to make or break me. Next up is going to be the Arcanist. The Arcanist is basically Twisted Fate. Nah, I think her speciality is basically Twisted Fate. Except it probably doesn't teleport across the map and gank someone in bottom lane or top lane. But I gotta say with the Arcanist, not many people are looking forward to it, to be honest. It's gonna be like, you know. That's pretty much it. It's gonna be And basically it's a third major advanced class. I believe it's a DPS class. It's not really a support class. So I think they've done it wrong here. I think they should put an artist or another support class here as well, because I gotta be bluntly honest, they need more supports. I mean, the only supports is a Gunlancer, Bard, and Paladin. Doesn't leave really much choice. Lower support class, and people have been begging for artists since God knows whatever, okay? The next thing in Jar is going to be Volton Raid, Legion Raid, Inferno difficulty. And Inferno difficulty is basically Hell difficulty, which is basically you have to do an entire raid in one go, and there's a lot of different abilities on all the bosses and stuff like that. Apparently, someone told me that Voltown's counter requires 5 counters altogether, which is going to be an absolutely hell on earth and stuff like that as well. It gives no loot, and also you can't overgear it, and you can do it as much as you want, but you get no loot, obviously, as well. It's kind of like a prestige kind of thing where you get titles and stuff like that as well. You need to be 1445 to participate. I think a lot of people will be looking forward to this, to be honest, but I don't think people are going to have the time either. Then you're going to have Challenge Abyssal Dungeons as raids, and basically it's going to be like Challenge Guardian raids all over again. That's what I'm going to say, just Challenge Guardian raids all over again. We can challenge Abyssal raids, whether it's, going to be Araya, Ancient Elvia, Ark of Arrogance, and stuff like that. I'm going to say right now, Ark of Arrogance and the Gate of Paradise are going to be such hated raids, because some people that don't know the mechanics still probably won't know the mechanics still, which is going to be quite annoying. But hopefully you can just push through that as well, and also get rewards, which is going to be, the accessories and stuff like that, greater honor stones, leap stones, stuff like that. And it's going to allow people to get more materials to push through the higher ranks of honing, because honings at this rate is going to get very, very, very sketchy really quickly when people are doing like 5 or 10% hones, where people just honing for the sake of honing, hoping they get an upgrade before they get pity hone. Now, looking ahead at the moment, they have not going to be doing too much after June and July, to be fair. Didn't expect too much after June and July. I mean, Vikus and then Hell Mode Vikus, and that's pretty much it. I would expect the next raid, I think it's Kakul Sidon, or is it Brasharzan out next? I think it's Kakul Sidon, actually, for 1475. I probably wouldn't expect that to be out for 2 to 3 months or so, because a lot of people could be like, 15 eye level upgrade, not going to be too hard. But given the fact it's going to be like likely 3% or 5% upgrades, I think it's going to take a few people quite a while. Now, at the other end as well, I feel like some people will hit 1490, or not 1490, will get above 1490, because you can in the first relic, so you can get up to 25. So I think people will actually hit the 1500s at one point as well. And they will finish up the Legion raid as well, getting ready for Brasharzan towards the end. Now, I'm not sure any of the content after Belshazzar, but that's what we've got at the moment. I think they'll probably release all the other stuff slowly but surely that the Korean servers have, and will be eventually caught up with the Korean servers as well. My point of view, like the things that I'm excited for is definitely the challenge Abyssal Dungeons. I'm not really keen on the Hell mode, Inferno mode, Voltan and stuff like that. Like, I just feel like, if you're going to introduce something like that, you should get some kind of reward, not some vanity reward. But I guess I can see what they're going for. They're going for, like, the top tier 1%ers and stuff like that. But I'm not really too interested in that, given the fact that, like, this game has a lot of content that you have to do. Like, being the, Legion raids and stuff like that on your mains or your ults or anything like that to get your gear to go forward. And, a lot of other areas to get the honing stones to try and upgrade as well does take a lot of your time up as well. And takes a lot of my time as well, because, I play like 4 or 5 hours a day, and on weekends is the ones where I can really, really poke out in as well. Now, there's some other changes that have been listed today on the patch. Is that the most important one is that all the materials you get from the Infinite Chaos Dungeons are now all bound to character and bound to roster, so you can't sell them anymore on market. This might raise the prices as well, which I'll talk about on State of the Economy when I do it next. And also, as well, they've actually locked the time for Adventure Islands on UGC instead of... they've locked the time off UGC into something else as well. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the new June and July roadmap. You can look at that, more details on their site. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. And tell me what you guys find exciting. If you guys enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe.